All right, let us say hello now to the brand new UFC strawweight champion, the first female in UFC history to win the same title on two separate occasions. She pulled off one of the most beautiful head kick knockouts that you'll ever see on Saturday against Zhang Weili. You know who this is. This is Thug Rose herself, Rose Namajunas. Rose, thank you so much for this. How are you
Yeah,
doing?
thank you. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much.
It's an amazing thing to see you less than 2 years removed from losing your title and all the emotion that brought, and then to see what happened on Saturday. Could I just start with, you won the belt once, you won it in dramatic fashion against, at the time, the person that everyone thought was the greatest strawweight of all time, and now you win it again in dramatic fashion. Can you compare the emotions that you felt the first time you won the belt to the second time?
Yeah, I think I was just more present the second time, just because I kind of been there before in a way. And yeah, I just let myself feel the emotions a little bit more as opposed to like what's happening. I more aware of what was happening.
Would you say that you enjoyed the experience this time around a little more than the first time?
Oh yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the experience the first time, but yes, I would say that I enjoyed even the challenges and the just every part of it. It was all good.
Um, and then you have a situation where, like I said, you lose the belt to Jessica and you're emotional about it, and you talk about maybe walking away. If I would have told that Rose in Brazil 2 years ago that this would have all panned out like this, would you have believed
Yeah,
me?
you know, I always knew that I was good at this. So if you would have told me that, I'd have been like, okay, maybe you're right. And but I just I couldn't allow myself to. Um, I had to be passionate about it. Like it wasn't fair to me or to my family or anybody watching if I didn't really enjoy doing it. So it didn't matter how good I was, and knowing that I could produce something like that if I wasn't into it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You bring out a different kind of emotion in people for some reason. I was talking about it with DC on Monday. Um, my theory is, and I'm curious how you feel about this, you are very vulnerable. You wear your emotions on your sleeve. You talk about, your good and your bad. And I think a lot of people see themselves in you because you do superhuman things in the cage, but you don't come across as someone who is superhuman. You come across as very relatable. I think women relate to you, men relate to you, people who have struggled relate to you, all kinds of people. And there's a connection that you have with the fans that is not common with other fighters. Do you sense that as well? And why do you think that is? Why do you think people live vicariously through you, are so emotionally connected to you and your journey?
I think just because today, I think in this world is kind of rare, and I think we're living in a world of social media and things like that. And it's easy to portray yourself as something that you're not, So I think that when somebody is just kind of, you know, admits or is honest, like just, you know, to me, yeah, I think it's just, I think it's just kind of rare in today's society.
Do you sense that as well? Like the outpouring of love that you receive? I mean, you could see it on your social media. You could see people talking about you. You could see celebrities. Lil Wayne is talking about you. I don't know if you saw that. Saying, do you see
Yeah.
that? He wants to make a song
Yeah.
about you. Like, do you see
Yeah.
that? And do you say to yourself, like, wow, this is amazing. Like, people really genuinely are happy for me.
Right. Right. It definitely, a lot of it does feel genuine, and a lot of it is just like really exciting. And yeah, I definitely noticed that, and it's definitely a really good feeling because I know I can be a complicated person, so I can be hard to understand. So it's cool to feel. I've never needed people to fully understand me. I've never needed that, like to just feel complete as a person. But it definitely does feel good to know that um, that the majority of people are like, all right, you're cool with me, as opposed to like, yeah, there's always going to be haters no matter what, no matter if you're whatever. But it definitely feels good. But it's something that is just kind of extra, but and it's something that I never needed, but it's definitely appreciated.
Do you feel like people get you now for the most part?
For the most part, I think there's always going to be, this journey that I'm on. Like Pat is the closest person to it, and the people that are closest to me, I think obviously get me even more. But I do feel that people are starting to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, part of being in the limelight and part of the good and bad of social media is it can make you get really, really high, but also really, really low at times, right? So are you trying to stay a little more centered so that you don't, get drunk with all this
Yeah.
love as opposed, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah, for sure. I mean, too much input, it can be an information overload. So I'm just trying to process like literally what just happened in the fight. So honestly, like all this stuff that I'm saying right now, I can feel totally different like 5 minutes from now. You know what I mean?
Do you still feel like you're on a high from Saturday?
Yes. This
Okay.
is something I think last night was like my second night of sleep, but so the sleep is just, almost non-existent, but like I didn't, sleep for like 48 hours
Wow.
since the fight,
What is going on in your head? Like, why can't you sleep?
because adrenaline, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like the weirdest things that happen, like going through a situation like that and such a high stakes environment and situation and competition and everything you put into it, 6 months culminating, not just that, but like my entire life, but yes, like it just comes to a head, and it like everything kind of builds up to this huge peak that once it's over, there's so much, like I don't even know like the scientific terms for all of it, but there's so much like biologically, chemically happening in your body that your breath stinks no matter how many times you brush your teeth, or you know what I'm saying, your sweats and your just everything's off, and yeah, so it takes a second to like calm yourself, and that's why that's why I'm realizing that, like, from this whole experience, I realized that whatever I say really has a lot more emphasis than what I knew that, I'm a figure and things like that, but I realized that I have to be very wise with what I say going forward, especially now, you know what I mean?
Right, of course.
Yeah.
And is part of that from what happened with the pre-fight comments? Like, are you referring to that?
Yeah.
You had to, I mean, you were asked that question, I think, in like every single interview, right? Was that frustrating?
It was, but I was also like prepared for it. So then not really, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And I'm glad that it happened because it was a huge learning experience for me. So, yeah.
Did you get a chance to talk to Zhang privately about it?
Yeah, he talked on the phone. They called us. His name Mark Delegati and Sean called us on the phone.
No, Zhang Weili.
Oh, Sean. I think you said
Zhang Weili.
No. No, she never, with all the stuff that was, said in the media coming from her statements, she never introduced herself to me. She never said hi. There was many opportunities to, say something. Mm-hmm. I always try to shake my hands to opponents, or at least, you know what I mean? Unless if I really just don't like them or something. But so that was very strange to me to say that, she was interested in being friends and wanted to invite me, for a sleepover in China, but not even saying, not even, hey, what's up, or something. Mm-hmm. So that was very strange and kind of at the time sort of rubbed me the wrong way, but I try to not like look too far into it and just whatever,
Mm-hmm. Even in the aftermath, nothing.
Nothing, no.
Okay.
But even like to the buildup, like the whole fight week,
Yep.
Yeah.
When you thought about the fight and envisioned how it would play out, did that scenario come to mind? Like such an early finish that came to mind?
I always know that I can finish a fight in any moment. So I never like say, oh yeah, it's going to be right here. And there, or, there's certain moments where I think maybe there's more likelihood of something to happen in a finish. But that particular technique we worked on, that was definitely part of the game plan. And I knew that was a vulnerability that she had. Pat's been to China. He's kickboxed there for a long time. And, in his early days. and a lot of his knockouts came from left high kick over there. So yeah, and it's just something that we had worked on.
So there's left high kicks and there's left high kicks when you're coming inside her guard. And like, that is super rare. Like that is high level stuff, the accuracy that you must have. And that is something like, that wasn't a coincidence, right? You meant to do that. That is something that you saw in her game that you can actually attack.
Oh yeah. Everything was set up from all the movement, and yeah, it was perfectly executed game plan. You know, there was other things that was part of the game plan, but that was definitely one of the main things.
Do you like what does she do that allows you or gives you the confidence that you could come in like that as opposed to on the outside? Because like I said, that's not something that we often see. Like, is her guard too open? Like, what did you see from her that made you think that this was an opening for you going into the fight?
I don't know. I just kept seeing it in my head, and something that I would land in practice. And it's one of those things where there's like multiple calculations going on all at once, and to put it into just, this is the one thing that I seen. There's so many things that I see just by her movement. I mean, even just the way she like, you know, kind of moves out of the way, like she does that little like weird hip thing, you know, like that Sanchai does. And I mean, yeah, I just like all of her tendencies I study. You know, I don't know her, but I do know, I think a lot about her, you know. Okay. Or I feel like my calculations were pretty spot on. They're all theories, right? And then you go into the fight and you test them out. And I was right.
One thing that I saw on Twitter, I want to give a shout out to the person who I saw it from, not to steal the idea. A guy on Twitter named Kaposa, who's a brilliant mind, posted like a series of pictures where like you looked down and then you went high. Do you do that on purpose? Is that like part of the setting it up? Really? Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. We, actually Pat worked on that with me a lot. Yeah.
And what are you trying to do when that, like, are you trying to make her, like, she's following your eyes, so you want to kind of lure her in down low and then get her up high?
Yeah, man. I played that like a violin, man.
Well done. Well, I know we know you can play piano. Now we know you can play the violin as well. Beautiful.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Yeah.
It's amazing how these things happen in real time, and like we don't notice it because it happens so quickly, but it really truly is so detailed. It really is like chess.
Oh yeah, it's so intricate. I mean, it's not just how hard you punch and kick. It's not how strong you are. It's an art, man. It's so much that goes into this that I couldn't even like write it all down. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff we do write down, but there's also a bunch of you know, decision makings and things, and preparation that once you get into the fight, then things just kind of happen, and all that preparation sort of just like kind of comes together.
Is it even possible to put it to words, like the photos of the aftermath where you're like a rocket, you're just like jumping up and down, almost like you're on a pogo stick? It's amazing how high you were able to jump in that moment. Can you even put into words what that feeling is like?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know if I could put it to words, but I could tell you like all the stuff that I was thinking, and just like the different sequence of events, or just the different voices in my head. But I mean, at that moment when I jumped that high, I really wanted to do a backflip, but then I was like, I'm gonna just play it safe, because like I've always wanted to do that, but then I'm like, I already like, I've already like struck gold. I'm gonna just like be cool with this. So I'm just gonna go here, you know. Yeah. That in that moment, that's what I was thinking.
And what are the other subsequent thoughts?
I guess, you know, what part, right? Because there's so many little, what part?
when Dana puts the belt around your waist.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So right before then, I was kind of numb to it, just because I was like, there was a part of me that wasn't like shocked at all, you know, because I was like, I wasn't attached to the result. I knew my preparation was good. I know that anything can happen. You kind of have to be honest with yourself, right? But I was content with my preparation, and I knew like I have everything it takes to win it, and it's just a matter of whether it's meant to be or not. But so I was just content with like, I wasn't attached to the result, you know. I didn't have any like feeling about it. And then I was like, why am I not feeling nothing? And then as soon as he put it on, it was like, it just felt like I got stabbed in the stomach. You know what I mean? Like, it just felt like just this guttural kind of scream that came out, because I was like, no, I did want this the whole freaking time. You know, obviously I wasn't attached to the result, but I'm so happy that I got this result. And all of that just came out of me. And then it was like, it's okay to feel this. And then it just, you know, it almost hurt. It almost hurt when I let out that scream. But it hurt so good.
What about when Pat is like, you know, celebrating with you and telling you that you're the best, you're the MF best and all that stuff? What do you recall from that?
I was just so happy because, like, I wanted to win it for me, but I knew also how much Pat wanted to win that thing too. So I was really happy that I could make him so happy too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not that I was like doing it for him or anything like that, but it just, I'm just so happy that, you know, I know how happy it's gonna make him.
The clip of you as Bruce Buffer saying your name at the beginning of the fight, and you're repeating to yourself, "I'm the best, I'm the best." Where does that come from? Like, was that just something you decided to do in the moment, or is this something that you worked on to repeat that mantra?
I did it in the last fight too, you know, and yeah. That's just, I do it in practice. You know, I just started to, I've been working with, you know, fight mindset, ever since I lost the belt, and kind of just started coming back and working on my mindset and things like that. And that's something that I always did on my own, but then kind of just bringing some little extra help in, it's really, I just take it to the next level. Right. So, and that's something that I always think about my mantras and stuff internally, but something about expressing it outwardly is just so much more powerful.
Do you have other mantras that you don't express that we don't know about?
Yes. I have it's not so much mantras, but like positive affirmations. And this time for this training camp, I translated all my positive affirmations into Lithuanian, and so that I could practice my Lithuanian, but not just that, like, there's something, because Lithuanian's like is the first language that I remember as a kid. So it kind of takes me back to my most authentic, like, innocent self as a kid. And it's just something about hearing and speaking Lithuanian, even though it's like challenging, it really helps me, and it really does something to me. So like, it's hard to really explain. It's more like that nostalgic, warm feeling that you have, like when you hear somebody, you know, your people speaking, you know. And so I made sure that I said my positive affirmations with my mom in Lithuanian, practice that with her every day. And then that would help her day better, like have a better day. And then that would help me. And we would just kind of reinforce it every day. And sometimes we wouldn't want to say them, you know, and some days maybe we miss a day or whatever, but then it just, those are the things that I did for this fight.
That is very, very interesting to me. I think I totally understand what you're talking about. Is that the first time you did that leading up to a fight? The translating into Lithuanian part?
Yeah, that one is unique to this fight. Yeah.
Why do you think you did it this time?
I think it's, well, I used to do like write in my journals and then translate Lithuanian. It's one of those things where I always am making an effort to try to keep practicing my Lithuanian and stuff like that. And I, you know, make sure I talk to my grandmothers and whatnot. But I always try to take it to the next level, because it is something that is like, it's challenging, but it means a lot to me. And so I always try to think of ways to like reincorporate it into my daily life while being in America. And it's not like Spanish where there's, you know, a lot of people speak Spanish here and you could, you know, whatever. It's like, there's really nobody to talk to except for my family.
How did you feel in the hours leading up to the fight? Did you feel more anxious than normal? Were you super calm because of the stakes involved here? How were you doing?
You know, it's always nerve-wracking, right? And it's always a little different each time. But this time, even though, I mean, I was really confident in my preparation, how I was actually feeling in that moment, yeah, I was a little shaky. I was a little shook up, but that's also like every time. But I was so confident in my preparation that it was like, I was like, I have no choice. I have no excuse but to like perform.
Does that go away once the fight starts, or do you need like, a few exchanges to get rid of those shaky nerves?
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I think, yeah, I mean, I knew I was ready the whole time. But I think that there's just moments where you bring yourself to the present moment and you're just, I don't know if it's like what triggers that, if it's just being in control of yourself,
What was it like backstage? Because you had Valentina, who had a great win before you. Then you have Kamaru, who's now part of the team as well. It felt like a bit of a, if I've seen some of the photos and videos, like a celebration of sorts. The vibe back there must have been like a whirlwind for you guys. What was it like?
Oh man. I love Valentina so much. Like she, just getting to know her over the years and seeing her path, like kind of, she's a huge inspiration to me. And it's one of those things where, even though like, now I love Jessica too. So it's kind of sucks to see, that, Jessica didn't win, but at the same time, like I was so happy for Valentina because, she is a really cool person. And, so that was really cool that we could both have the belts and just kind of have that moment. And she always believed in me, you know what I mean? She always, knew that I could do it. So I was like, hard to really like explain, I guess, that feeling. Cause like I look up to her, you know what I mean? And she's amazing. And Usman, I mean, gosh, I've seen his improvement so much. Even just in the short amount of time that I've known him like that. And getting to know him, I learned so much from him as well. We're different fighters, but we learn from each other. And for us both to get like spectacular finishes like that, it's the best.
What a testament to Trevor Whitman, right? What a night for him. I mean, that's the stuff I think coaches dream of, that kind of night. And it feels like it's not like he hasn't been getting his due. I mean, I said he was the coach of the year last year. I think everyone views him as one of the greatest coaches in the history of this sport. But he's not really someone that likes the limelight, right? Like you don't see him parading around doing interviews afterwards. Lord knows he's turned me down like a million times. I don't know if he hates me or something, but I know he's just that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Did you have a moment with him afterwards? Could you see how happy he was about the success of two of his fighters?
Oh yeah. I mean, we got to hang out after the fight once we got back to the hotel and stuff. And that was a great time as always, but right after the fight, yeah, it kind of sucked that he couldn't be in the cage with us and he had to go. But it was cool because like, I don't know, I think like my performance, it had to have been a roller coaster for him,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I remember when you won the belt for the first time, I think you and Pat, like I think you might have like went to the airport right away from MSG or something like that. And I remember you saying like you guys closed the blinds and you were like, what the heck is going on? Like is it all different this time? Do you not feel that same way?
No, yeah, I don't feel that same way. Obviously it is kind of weird to be like, have a spectacular moment like that, like rocket ship out into the space. And then now we're sitting at home and just regular people again. So yeah, it's definitely weird, but it's not something that is foreign or like I know what to expect kind of.
You don't think the belt will be like this source of anxiety for you this time?
I don't believe so. I don't feel that, obviously, I mean, it is. I think things are always changing and there's always going to be new challenges and whatnot, but I'm just way more mature as a person. So yeah, I think just being, I think that, I think this time will be different.
By the way, what do you do with the belt? Like, where is it now?
Where is it at? I think it's by the fireplace.
Okay.
Or no, it was by the fireplace. Okay, we put it in the case, but
okay.
I was like sitting on the couch with it all day yesterday.
And by the way, shout out to Ruka for the amazing campaign. Yeah. And then like, they bet on you going into the fight and then they have like commercials ready for after the fight, after you win. That's got to be amazing, right? To be involved with an iconic brand like that and like have that pay off. Like you can almost like make the investment pay off for them right off the bat.
Off the bat, yeah. I'm so thrilled that I was able to do that, and so blessed to have like Pat Snort's like a really cool guy, and I'm really excited for the relationship going forward. It's something that is just happened so organically, and it's one of those things where you feel like you've been like waiting for that for like such a long time, but just perfect timing, you know.
Before I let you go, I wanted to focus this conversation on the moment and what you just accomplished. I think sometimes we focus too much on what's next, literally seconds after you guys, climb this mountain. But, I'd be remiss if I don't ask you, in the back of your mind, like, do you have a sort of idea of what you want to do, or you haven't really gone there yet?
Yeah, not really. I mean, no, not really.
Do you think you'll fight
I
again this
mean,
year?
I think so.
Mhm.
I think so. Yeah. That's something that like going into this fight, that was what I was hoping to do, is stay active. It's just a matter of putting all the pieces together and like making sure that I make sure that I plan things out accordingly, I guess.
Right. I threw out the idea. I think the story of you and Carla would be symbolic because of what happened in your
Oh yeah.
debut, right?
Yeah, I want to watch that fight. That's I really I think Yana's a great fighter as well, and she's really interesting. But Carla's, if she can keep pulling off, wins like she's been doing, and stay consistent and get through Yana, I mean, that's something that I seems like that's jumping out to me the most right now. But like I said, it's definitely something to think about.
Zhang said she wanted an immediate rematch. Do you think that makes sense?
Um, I have no idea,
Okay.
honestly. I I don't know.
So from here, what do? You're just chilling out,
Yeah,
planting?
yeah. Yes, we got the urban farm or urban garden is kind of like open now. Just Colorado weather is so crazy that if I start, I could just maybe do some seeds or like prepare the soil and stuff, but probably not planting until Mother's Day. But yeah, really excited to get going on that.
Well, you deserve this. And I know there are so many people who are so happy for you. And it was just an amazing moment, like one of those magical moments. And that's no knock on Zhang, but I think you have allowed people to go on this journey with you through the highs and the lows, and to see where it was 2 years ago and how you were feeling, and now to see you come all the way back is inspiring for a lot of people. And I hope you recognize that, not just as fighters and athletes. Like, you inspire people to just do regular things and overcome regular fears. So it was a great
Yeah.
moment, and so many people have come up to me to talk about you. I mean, like, you really do connect with people, so I know
Thank
that, and it seems sincere from people. And I hope you know that you deserve this, and that a lot of people are genuinely happy for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I feel that too. So appreciate you.
And I think there was one last thing that you wanted to touch on before we say goodbye, or no?
Oh yeah. So I've been trying to get the inventor and creator of Earthships, Michael Reynolds, on the Joe Rogan podcast. I understand, like, dude's super busy and stuff. So I kind of but Michael Reynolds has, stage 4 cancer, so we don't know how long he would, have the opportunity to do something like that, just to talk about it and kind of. So that's something, if somehow this message could get out there, that would be really cool.
Joe, make it happen. I have no
Yeah, please.
pull with Joe. I mean, I think
Yeah.
you could call Joe up right now. You probably have a better relationship than I do, but I hope he does hear this and grant you that wish, because stage 4
Yeah,
cancer.
and whatever happens. It's all good with me. But that would be really cool.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Rose. Enjoy everything. Enjoy this whole journey. Thank you to Pat. Congratulations to you and your entire family, your entire team, and enjoy the time off. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.